One of the things that inspired me very early on is back when I was a little boy in Pittsburgh, they used to have on television, just to fill up the television space, they would have just odd programs, and they had one program that described special effects during the 1920s filmmaking, and they were flying by the seat of their pants during that period, and I took that to heart, I guess, because that's what I do when I do my models. When they needed to have a crowd scene and couldn't afford it, what somebody suggested is they make a model of the stadium, and in the stadium have little dowels with faces painted on it and on an armature. And so somebody behind the scenes was cranking this armature, and it made the little dowels move up and down. So from far away, when the actors were in front of this model, the model was something like 10 feet away, it looked like there were people jumping, moving, and there was motion. And I was fascinated by that. And I can remember spending hours, if not years, trying to figure out how they actually did this. Clearly it took me about 40 years to get to that point, because when I took this particular picture, it was this was what was on my mind. I was thinking, I will drag this outside, line it up with the background, and see what I can get. And another thing what I've learned when making my models to get realism is that you have detail, but you don't have to have a lot of detail. You just want to get the mind and eye working together, and they will play off each other. If you have too much detail, these items become just a mere curiosity. But if you just have the shape or the right color and all that, then you start filling it in with your own memories and your own thoughts, or what you think maybe a couch should look like, or what a table should look like. And if you noticed, my photographs do not have incredible close-ups, because if it's too close-up, then the magic is exposed. It's kind of smoke and mirrors in a way. I don't like to think about that, but I want to think it was more a romantic situation going on here. What I would like when people see my work is for them to look at the photograph and have them start talking, because they'll say, oh, this reminds me of my grandmother, or this reminds me of when I was young. Or even if they're little children and they see the work, they go, aside from the fact, is this real or not, they say, oh, I remember going down the street, and this looks like the neighborhood that, when I take a walk. And what it does, you start getting a dialogue between the observer and the picture. And they start filling it all in. And I think that's why my work actually strikes a chord with people, is even though it's a period specific, it just touches something very deep inside them, and it gets things going. Very dreamlike in a way.